Hello everyone, welcome back. It's Empyrion Galactic Survival Episode 14. I'm Enigmius and today we're going after the drone base. That's the long and the short of it, but before we head off in that direction, we have a couple of goodies that we want to look at. The sun is just coming up, so the light is better than it would be if it was the middle of the night, but it's still not great. We're in the, previously the tailed crab, now it's the spiky whale. Just because I realized it was kind of silly. Previously we had just this big section here was wide open, of course, and then down here was an open spot, and through that open spot was all of our ammo boxes. Kind of not the best place for ammo boxes, so I could have moved the ammo boxes, which is a bit difficult when we're out in the field and we don't have a constructor with us. So I built this section here, ironically back at our base, specifically to prevent the enemy from having easy access to shoot in and destroy our ammo boxes easily. That was kind of a big deal. The other thing is I was able to make a tier 2 sniper rifle, which is very handy for reconnaissance. Go through the scope freeze for a second there. We can see what we're going after a little bit easier, and it's also pretty deadly with the headshots now too. It's got a big multiplier for damage from headshots. I don't even think these things have heads. But if they did, we would be able to shoot them in it, and they would die. If we could hit them, it's just a thing. And lastly, we added a new gun. This is where we get this spiky whale. It's got kind of a whale tail now. I redid this turret platform, so we've got our 2 minigun turrets like we had before. But now we've got an artillery gun as well, which is turning out to be maybe not as useful as I would have hoped in this specific situation. The purpose for having this is I wanted an option that would allow me to take out enemy turrets on bases before we get close enough for them to use those turrets on us. Now in this case, I know that there's a turret here and another turret. Let's see if we can get the red. Is it gonna? No, it's not gonna let us. There's another turret right about here. They're cannon turrets. They hit very hard. They fire very often. And combined with the tendency of the hover vehicles to get lobbed up in the air, it's kind of like skeet shooting, only they have the shotguns and we're the clay pigeon. It gets a little bit old. So what I wanted to do was put ourselves in a position where if we're gonna get lobbed up in the air randomly, at least we aren't gonna have turrets shooting at us. So we brought along the artillery gun, and the range is not bad. Obviously, they currently can't shoot at us. The range on the turret is like something like 750 meters compared to the 400 meters on their weapons. So it would be nice if it was a little bit easier to see them. And when let's just hop into the turret. We're gonna relocate ever so slightly, and then jump in. And you can see what it looks like when you're shooting it. It's really the person who designed the artillery did not go out of their way to make it easy to hit things. And I get that it's kind of a balancing aspect when you've got the long range and you've got big damage and expensive ammunition. You want to make sure that you waste as much ammunition as possible trying to hit targets at range. We're going to hop in here. We're going to get directly into it, take control of it, close that, and now you can see this is what you get to aim this thing. Now, it's not artillery in the sense that I was thinking of when I saw it and decided to make it, in the sense that it's like a lobbing sort of thing. It does have an arc to it, though. So we have to be aware of that, and we have to kind of have a general idea of what we're trying to hit. And I feel like maybe this time what we want to do is focus on the left side first. Let's see what we can do. You can tell I've been messing around just by the way I'm talking. I've been messing around with it, trying to figure out what specifically we can hope to achieve. It's very difficult to fine-tune the aim. So even if you have a pretty good idea of where you want to shoot, getting it to point in that direction is a little bit tricky. Then we wait for it to reload, and then we shoot. And hopefully we hit what we want to hit. Now I've got 50 shells. They're, like I mentioned, they're pretty expensive to make. They require advanced CPUs and electronics to make the shells. Everything else is like magnesium and iron. This one, not so much. It's a little bit more involved to make each shell, but theoretically, if you're hitting your target regularly, it's worth it. So here we're kind of guessing because we can't specifically see the turret that we're aiming at. We only have a general idea of where it is, and we can't specifically see what's happening with the hits that we are or are not making. We just keep shooting until we feel like it's time to stop shooting, and then we hop out and we take a look with the old sniper rifle. There's also a troop transport right there, and it's got, you can see the red lights, and those are from the troop transport. So it's one of those situations where you know there's a turret over there, and then there's also the troop transport. If you don't know it's a troop transport, maybe you spend all your time shooting at it, it'll soak a lot of damage from an artillery cannon before it gets destroyed, and then the dust clears and you haven't destroyed the turret, and that was the primary objective. Once we've got the turrets down, it's a pretty straightforward thing to move up with the ship and let our minigun turrets take care of the troop transport and the drones and all those other things. We're gonna relocate ever so carefully. Let's see if we can't get a better line on this. What are we shooting at now? Was it a plant monster? I think it was a plant monster. As long as I stay outside 400 meters, and according to the indicator, we're at 450, 440. Uh-oh. We can't have the turret shooting on its own. That's not part of the goal. The ammunition is just too damn expensive. I keep telling myself that if I'm able to take one of these bases without using more than half of my ammunition, because there's another base on the other side of this that we're going to have to go after, that we can shoot a Triceratops with the artillery cannon and see what it does. I've yet to meet that goal. All I really have to go on, and I'm seeing this now, is that actually the projectile gives off a glow that you can see when it's passing through trees and stuff. But between that glow and the lack of explosions, I'm guessing that I went a little bit over. That looked to be a little bit closer, but I didn't see an explosion. So there we go. That was maybe a bit of an explosion. What about this side? Let's just take a look over here. Now, one thing that I could be doing is taking out the trees. But again, we're talking about very costly ammunition. To be using it as basically a long-range chainsaw. That was an explosion. I don't know if that was an explosion on a tree or an explosion on a turret, but it was definitely an explosion. Yeah, I think those are tree explosions. How are we looking for ammunition? We're down to 40 rounds. 5 in the gun and 35 in the box. That's not too bad. All those drones flying around, if only they knew what was headed their way. And we'll do one more over on this side just to check it out. And now, active. No. You're not allowed to shoot at the enemy just because you're there. And what are we looking at here? Impossible to tell. But I get the feeling that there's still a turret there, and oops, we may have got this one. Maybe. Or that's a turret, or a wall, or a something. At this point, the other option that we have, that I never even thought of before, but it's actually a pretty good one, is we can leave the artillery alone for a second and come down to one of these guys Now the difference between these and the artillery is these don't do as much damage, but they're ironically a little bit easier to aim. They do have a bit of a fall off, as you'll see. They don't seem to want to damage trees, which is not that big of a deal. It seems pretty much anything except for rockets will damage trees. And this is a case where the ammunition is inexpensive, to say the least, and we've got lots of it. Oh, we got a drone shooting at us, and our turrets took their damn sweet time to deal with it. That guy just snuck right up on us. So we'll do a couple more shots on this side, and then I think all we can really do at this point is move up and see what we've got to deal with. Hopefully both turrets are down. Then our turrets could take care of the rest of the hostiles while we take a look at the base and see about getting a foothold in there. One more for giggles. Seems like they're going in pretty low. I'm going to go up just a tiny bit. Alright. See, here we go with the skeet shooting. Already. Now we're close enough. If the turrets are still there, we're going to find out in an awful hurry because they're going to start shooting at us. We may have got both of them. So here come the enemy drones. And of course our turrets just don't care. Gonna fly up and pretend that we're air-to-air fighting just because. I don't know why specifically there's such a delay between the turrets activating when we've been using a turret in manual, but that seems to be the trigger, possibly, is that it's just we were using one turret manually and then the other turrets don't quite know what to do. Fortunately, we've got a pretty resilient ship. They changed the material requirements for hardened steel blocks and they added a new tier of armored blocks. I think they're like combat steel or something like that, blocks that are even more beefy. But they changed it so that now in order to make the materials used to make the hardened and combat blocks, you have to have materials that you can't get on this planet. So I was very glad that I stockpiled some of the hardened blocks before that was implemented. Oh, there's the troop transport. Here comes another drone. Please don't destroy the enemy base, turrets. I want to get in there and find loot. Everything is reloading. I think we better keep this guy at a bit of a distance for now. Did we get that drone? We must have. Alright. Or not. I don't know what they're shooting at. Maybe this guy is down on the ground. That always tricks me. I always feel like that should be... Hey, enough. Oh, okay, it's firing rockets. I don't mind if it's firing rockets. Oh, good lord. It's beating the hell out of this. Wow. It's just... Will you please stop wasting ammunition on nothing? Quit it. It's an enthusiast. It's just... Every time I turn around, it starts shooting again. Can we help it? The best thing in that whole scenario, though, is that we disabled the artillery so that it doesn't have the option of shooting at us or shooting at the enemy. We've got a turret here that's going to be a problem if we just leave it there. You go away, Dino. Oh, hey. I'll take that. Free ammunition always works better than the stuff you had to pay for. This is the troop transport. Who's shooting what at who? I think that's the turret shooting at me. Some of the animations that you get when you hit these turrets just kind of amuses me. But at least you know that you're hitting the turret itself and not the stuff around the turret. Now, one of the changes that they made is you can no longer destroy base blocks and capital blocks with hand weapons anymore, apparently, which is kind of an interesting addition. Perhaps they felt it was too easy. But here we've got... Oh, me jumping the gun. There we go. All kinds of baddies. I'd like to kind of clear out this main floor and give us sort of a starting point that requires actually hitting my targets. Oh, here's one. Or not. They're a little bit twitchy. Which is not to say that's the reason why I'm missing them. But it doesn't contribute to a successful outcome. I'm destroying all the blocks behind him, shooting through his head. Oh. Oh, that guy's glitching through stuff. When in doubt, lure them into the turrets of the ship. Oh, we'll take that. Assault rifle ammunition. Is that a guy? No, that's not a guy. So the thing is, they like to gather together right here with the walls, and then you think that there's only one or two, and you find out there's 5 more hiding in behind the walls. I wonder, maybe should we switch to a different weapon? That didn't help at all. That kinda helped. But they're kind of in cover even though you can see parts of them. What about this? Is that dead? Nope, he's not dead. Now he's dead. These guys have lots of medicine and stuff, which is kind of handy. And that doesn't necessarily mean we want to be hanging out next to them. We're just gonna get on out of there while we can. And we'll get rid of the spawner. There's crawlers down there. The wingless bats. One less crawler, one less spawner. I'll take it. That's a good outcome for us. But... oh, look at this guy. Just hanging out. This thing has got like a 5 times multiplier for headshots for damage, on top of a pretty aggressive base damage. Means headshots are the way to go. Who's that? Shooting at me like that? Is that the turret again? I don't think so. I don't think it's facing in the right direction. I think someone else is stirring up trouble. Could it be this guy? Bitch, it was. There we go. And that won't be bugging us anymore. Should be a crawler over here somewhere. Where he at? There he is. Jerk. These guys inflict you with some sort of parasite if they hit you sometimes, which is no fun at all. Yeah. Very convenient. I love the ick noises that it makes. I hear footsteps. I should probably have a weapon out that's suited to dealing with footsteps. Food and ammunition. I was just thinking to myself, I wish I had brought some food with me from the ship before we came in here, but we're good now. Canned vegetables, just like I had in the ship. I wonder which version tastes better, ours or the aliens. I don't know if that means there's another spawner around here somewhere, or if he was just a straggler. I don't even know that it matters. Look at this guy right here. Just waiting to make a mess of us. We have to be very, very careful. Come over here. This is what I didn't notice in the last place until after I'd stopped recording the episode, is his generators and stuff in the wall that we can dismantle and take the components for. Hey. What the hell was that all about? Oh. Turret on the wall. Like, what's shooting me? I don't see anything with legs. Kind of bump up our health a little bit. So I think actually this is a good place to take a break, because we've kind of established a foothold on the main floor of the base, and now we've got stuff to go. We've got places to go that are in the upward direction and places to go that are in the downward direction. We have to get to another elevator to find the downward direction, and we'll be doing that in the next episode. So if you want to be notified when we add that, the easiest way to do that is to subscribe to our channel or follow me on social media. Links for social media in the information box below the video. Feel free to leave your comments and feedback. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.